All right, that's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh addressing a press conference on other capabilities as far as the defence industry is concerned. But having said that, with what has happened right now, let me take that across to our guest joining us here on ET Now, retired Manmohan Bahadur, Air Vice Marshal, IAF. Sir, thank you very much for your time. Let me begin by asking you this, Air Marshal. Given the aspect that we were going to look at retaliation as far as after what we saw with Operation Sindoor, but given the situation that we have seen with the recent response, how are we looking at this at the moment? So you'll have to unmute yourself.
Getting me on the program. You see, since morning we have been seeing reports from the Punjab area, Rajasthan area about flashes that have happened at night. So one basically correlated that with something that happened previously. Now it's clear that the previous night, that is the night of 7th and 8th, Pakistan had attempted to strike, as our government handout says, military targets right from up north, Srinagar, Avantipur, down south up to Bhuj. And that's a huge list of military targets. And as some say, they were Air Force stations and basically air defense radars. And they were engaged by our integrated air defense system. So that's what are the flashes and the engagements and the destruction of missiles possibly that we saw in all the visuals that came in the morning. Now it's clear. And we have now taken a step which, as the statement says, is non-escalatory. We have responded in kind with the same type of armament, that is missiles, it says, as well as drones, against similar military targets, basically their air defense system. Now, this is what has happened, and we have said that it's not escalation from our side, it's escalation from your side. So let's see how it happens. Having said that, there are, you can see it on Twitter, the type of remarks that is coming in from Pakistani ISPR, which say that this is where all our drones were intercepted and somewhere they have gone through. So we can expect some sort of retaliation. Now, having said that, we must understand that war or offensive action is a very messy thing, in the sense that when you go on the offensive, there would be some damages that you may have to take. And the population needs to be aware of this, that God forbid, but it may happen. But our people are, with their eyes and ears open, waiting for anything that may come from the other side.
You know, Marshal, as you point that out, one of the aspects here is if you can explain the operational significance of targeting air defense systems rather than the offensive bases that we're looking at.
Two ways to look at this.
What has transpired here?
Yeah, so two ways to look at this. When you talk of an air defense system, it just does not mean radars. It also means aircraft, operating surfaces like the runways, airborne warning and control systems, the communication system. All this goes and makes up the air defense system of any nation. So you strike out one, depending on what you strike out, that has a debilitating effect on the capability to intercept attacks coming your way. So attacking the radars is a sure way of ensuring this. Yes, as you rightly said, why didn't we go for aircraft or the operating systems? Remember, the operating surfaces like runways and all. To that, I would like to take you back to the government statement which has come. We don't want to escalate, because that would be a big escalation if we strike their runways, their aircraft, their hangars. We said we have done exactly what you have done and given it back to you in kind. So don't escalate. If it comes to that, we'll do that.
One of the aspects that you did talk about, and that's something that we've also looked at in the statement, that India is very clear. They're not looking to escalate, but the message in retaliation will be in kind of what we've seen over here. But are we looking at a situation where now this is going to escalate in the sense that there will be more damage than strategy?
Uh, it's like this now. It's all a question of the political will and how much the politician in Pakistan can withstand public pressure. The people in Pakistan today have seen our drones come and strike. There are enough videos on the social media which show that they are worried that what is this that is happening. So the pressure on the Pakistani leadership would be immense to retaliate. In what form they retaliate is what I'm sure our planners have taken into account, and we won't be sitting on our haunches if they come our way. Now the UAVs that we use, the kamikaze drones that we use, the Harops, is what they have said that we have used Harops. But Harops uh, go a particular amount of distance. We have gone, as per their statement, to Karachi. They've hit some places in Karachi. There are videos that are moving around. Karachi is some distance away. So we have used some special weapon, possibly. But let's see what happens.
And Asha, reports also indicating that about 400 S-400 is being used by India. That is now, does that give India an upper hand in the current situation? If you could help us draw perspective on, that aspect as well, because that's very important to understand where things stand at the moment.
That's right. The S-400 is an important part of equipment, a radar system with missiles, which is part of our integrated air defense system. We had, I think, ordered 5 and possibly have received 3. That's what the media had said. If some more have come in because that Ukraine-Russia war had delayed the deliveries. But I really don't know. 3 for sure is the number that was there earlier. But S-400 is a very potent system. And it covers, as the S-400 says, a distance of 400 kilometers. Of course, it depends on what height the target is coming. And it has 4 different types of missiles, which take on targets at different set of ranges from where the S-400 is located. So this S-400 would be, obviously, the linchpin in our integrated air defense system. And it would have been used. There's no doubt about it. We bought it for eventualities like this, and it is very important. Let's put it simply.
Marshal, before I let you go, given the loss of innocent lives that we're looking at, in this border shelling as well, we actually saw a ground report by one of our colleagues as well. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, talking of that S-400, it's when you're talking of a system is one thing.
Yeah.
How to utilize the system, how well it is integrated, is finally what is the proof of the pudding when you start using it. Okay, so S-400 has been with us for some time now, but let's not forget our Indra radars, our Akash weapon system, surface-to-air missile system, an indigenous one, and the others which are there, the Pichoras, the Israeli systems that we have got, anti-aircraft. So these are all integrated into our system, and our people are good at using it. Yeah, please go ahead with the question.
Marshal, while of course you put that into perspective for us, a quick word on the aspect of course, how unfortunately we're looking at innocent civilian lives being lost in this border shelling as well. In fact, we had one of our reporters from Times Network also showing us what that's looking like, the aftermath of it. But here is, the aspect of how the military is going to be looking at this with minimal collateral damage.
When you use artillery shells, there are smart artillery shells also. But what we saw in Poonch is indiscriminate shelling from the other side, which has resulted in those large number of deaths of civilians, which is cringeworthy, which is just not acceptable. Okay, so but when you use drones, they are precision weapons, and they more or less strike what you want them to strike. So when the army comes in or the ground forces come in, then the chances of collateral damage are much more. Even though our army targets military installations, and collateral damage, if any, is incidental and something that we don't want. But what we are seeing in Punch and all along the LOC and certain part of the international border in Jammu is bad, is bad from the other side, from the Pakistani side.
Right, Marshall, I appreciate you joining us on the show, sharing with us your perspective, and also, helping us understand the significant development in terms of how this is being looked at strategy-wise as well. So we appreciate your time. Thank you once again. But having said that, we should